All right, the Dr. Bones Book of Boney Rhymes. I've got my associate Skelly Skeleton. He's going to do some Boney Rhymes. Of course, he's got all kinds of bones, about 206 bones in the human body, right? So we'll flip this over. All kinds of bones in the body. Let's just take a little bit of a look here at some of the bones. Okay, so let's take a look here. So of course you've got the skull bones and the jaw bones, the neck bones, shoulder blades, collar bones. Football players have a problem with the collarbones, breaking the collarbones, usually the quarterbacks, especially the ribs as well. The ribs can be broken easily. And you've got upper arm bones, lower arm bones, leg bones, the hip bones connected to the leg bone. Okay, I'm not going to sing. All the way down to the toes, right? Actually, there are quite a few bones in the feet and in the hands. So many bones in the feet and the hands. So Skelly, we're going to start out with some of the bones here. Let's start out with the bones of the cranium. So the cranium, we're talking about the skull, the bones of the skull. Let's take a look here. Okay. So Skelly's first rhyme is the cranium. Here we see the cranium. Okay, Skelly, would you like to tell that one? Sure, Dr. Bones. The cranium. The cranium is the part of the skull that protects the brain. It's made from 8 different bones. I shall explain. Okay, so Skelly's going to explain some of the bones here. We see a diagram. Actually, if you scroll down to this lower diagram, you can see the Wormian bones. These are the fissure lines of a skull. In the frontal part of the skull, we have the frontal bone. So we have a frontal bone. We have sides of the skull, each side, right? So that's 2 bones, the parietal bones, all right? And on the sides of the skull, we have 2 temporal bones, meaning near your temples, all right? So we have 2 bones there, all right? So when we start adding up all of these bones, we end up getting about 8 different bones, especially we need to go to the back of the skull as well. Occipital bones, all right? And so on, sphenoid bone, and ethmoid bone, right? Over here. So he was right, 8 different bones. All right, let's see what we've got on tap for the next set of bones. All right, let's go to the next one here. See where we're going to go. I haven't seen the Dr. Bones Book of Boney Rhymes in a few years, so let's see. It's always fun to go back and see something you've done years ago. Ah, the humerus bone, all right. The upper arm bone called the humerus. Skelly, let's hear that rhyme you've got. The humerus. The upper arm bone is called the humerus, which is a humorous name for a bone, I must concede. Although its name is rather funny, its form and function are on the money. It is a very useful bone indeed. Okay, so there you go. So the humerus, all right, the upper arm bone, a very useful bone indeed. All right. If you scroll down, we've got some bones of the lower arm. These are bones that people usually break. Thank goodness you're not breaking the humerus. Usually they break the ulna or the radius, all right? So these are the 2 bones of the lower arm, so the forearm bones. All right. So Skelly, would you like to tell us your rhyme about the ulna and the radius? Sure, Dr. Bones. The ulna and the radius are the 2 bones above the wrist. They are very important since they allow the arm to twist. Yes, so they allow the arm to twist. Okay, so you can take, for example, in a tennis swing, pronation and supination of the wrist, turning your wrist up or turning your wrist down. This is what the ulna and the radius will function for. I should say that the muscles attached to the ulna and radius will turn them, okay? So muscles move bones, but you've got to have the support structure, meaning the bones, for the muscles to attach to them and so on, so that you can move your arm, okay? So let's see, where are we going next, Skelly? Let's take a look. Let me flip this over. Okay. Maybe these rhymes have magically improved, I don't know. Let's find out. All right, so where are we? Oh, the backbone. good to have a backbone, all right? The backbone is constructed of vertebrae, plenty of them, by the way. I think there are about 33 or so. Skelly, would you like to tell us your rhyme about the backbone?
Yes, indeed. The backbone. Our backbone helps us stand straight and tall. It has 33 vertebrae, some large, some small. The lumbar vertebrae are the largest of all. The cervical vertebrae are the smallest of the small. The thoracic vertebrae are of intermediate size. Cervical, thoracic, and lumbar all lining up lengthwise.
Ah, very good. So they all line up, hopefully, lengthwise, all right? You don't want to have them going sideways. Then you've got a problem, all right? If you've got your backbone going sideways, see your orthopedic surgeon, okay, or your chiropractor, I suppose. All right, if we scroll down, yes, those delicate bones attached to the backbone called the ribs, all right? So people end up breaking those in various occupations and sports and so on, so they can be dangerous. You don't want to have your ribs puncturing your lung. That can cause real trouble. All right. Skelly, would you like to tell us about the ribs and the rib cage?
Yes, indeed, I would. The rib cage. The rib cage is flexible yet strong, for it expands and contracts all day long. Good protection it does provide for the heart and lungs inside.
Ah, very good. I think these rhymes are improving. Okay, all right, let's see what we've got next up. Sooner or later, we'll run out of bones to find. I may have to do some soup bone jokes or something like that, I don't know, or a ham bone, I guess. I guess you could say Dr. Bones is more of a ham bone. Ah, the hip or pelvis. Senior citizens, yes, they have to be careful with the hip and the pelvis. They've actually got operations to replace these bones, or portions thereof, I should say. Okay, the hip bones, the pelvis. Skelly, would you like to tell us a little bit about the hip, the pelvis?
Okay, I will. The hip bones are bordered by the iliac crest. When you stand or sit, the hip bones are put to the test. They're in the center of the body, as you can see, connecting to the backbone and femurs, 1, 2, 3.
Ah, so very interesting. So the hip bones are bordered by the iliac crest. So when you stand or sit, they are put to the test. All right, interesting. So in the center of the body, as you can see, connecting to the backbone and femurs, 1, 2, 3. All right, interesting, very good. All right. Let's see some of those bones that are connected to the hip. Ah, the femur. The femur is the upper leg bone. Okay, so the femur is the upper leg bone. I've heard of some people getting into car accidents and actually breaking the femur. That would be quite painful, so you wouldn't want to do that, and I'm sure it takes a long time to heal. Oh my goodness. So be careful with riding in the car and the seatbelt, of course, but sometimes they have accidents and unfortunate things happen. So the femur, let's take a look at the femur. Skelly, would you like to tell us your rhyme on the femur?
Okay, here we go. The femur. The upper leg bone, as you can see, is below the hip and above the knee. It's called the femur, I do say, and it helps you run and jump and play.
Ah, very good. So obviously you're going to need your femurs to run and jump and play. Okay, so it's the big leg bone, where a lot of red blood cells are made, by the way. Your red blood cells are constructed in the bony inner part of the bones. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look. Now we should be seeing the lower leg bones. All right, let's take a look here. All right. Of course, between the upper and lower leg bones, we've got that kneecap. Another problem for sports players. They crack the kneecap. Of course, there are other occupations you should be aware of. They break your kneecaps, so stay away from those people, please. Okay, the kneecap, by the way, is really called the patella, all right? So the patella or patellar tendon, which is actually hooked up into the kneecap area. Patellar tendon is something that can be ruptured, and you're going to be out for the season with something like that. So the kneecap is also called the patella. All right, Skelly, would you like to tell us your rhyme on the kneecap or patella?
Yes, indeed I would. The kneecap is also called the patella. It is shaped like a sesame seed, my good fella. Part of its charm is that it helps you protect the knee joint from harm. A friend indeed is the patella.
A friend indeed is the patella. So it is, it's shaped like a sesame seed. So watch out for those good fellas. They may end up breaking your patella. All right, be careful. All right, next, the tibia and fibula. Interesting, when I was about 8 years old, I broke my tibia. And then one of my favorite football players, I heard he broke his fibula. So that's the smaller bone, all right? If you ever see a chicken's lower leg, you'll see the tibia and the fibula, the smaller bone. So they are in tandem in the lower leg, all right? So Skelly, tibia and fibula, what do you got to say?
Ah, yes, the tibia and fibula are the two bones in the lower leg. Without these two bones, Skelly would need a wooden peg.
Okay, Skelly, so Skelly's talking about himself in the third person there. So Skelly would need a wooden peg. Oh, well. Okay, so that's the Dr. Bones Book of Boney Rhymes. Hopefully we'll see you in the next episode of the Dr. Bones Show. I hope you enjoyed Skelly's rendition of the Dr. Bones Book of Boney Rhymes. Skelly, would you like to say goodbye to the audience?
Hey, Skelly Skeleton here, saying goodbye and enjoy your bones. 206 of them, take them home, enjoy your bones. Take care, bye for now.